All
Hello,
right, all
breadheads.
right.
Hello, Ty. How are
Hello,
you?
Eric. Hello, Breadheads. Back in the booth with my bud booth. You're my booth bud.
I am thrilled to be your bud guy. How are you today on this fine Friday?
I'm doing so good, Eric. The sun is out. I'm wearing a turtleneck. Uh, say less, right?
Holy shit. Dude, it's a perfect day to, roll the windows down on your Toyota Matrix and,
Mm-hmm.
the wind's a little cold, so you'll need the turtleneck.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a beautiful day and happy to be in the studio with my guy, Ty.
My God, Ty. Wow. I feel
Wow.
like I've been growing a mustache out a little bit too for the weekend, Eric. So with the
hmm
mock neck, do you think I kind of look like James Franco at all?
Interesting. And what movie? I can see the hair. You messed it up intentionally to be kind of like a disheveled,
Mm-hmm.
like attractive, like guy who's like too old to be in high school, but he was just held back a few years.
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Exactly.
the character in my head.
Yeah, yeah. He's like effortlessly unkept, yet
hmm
handsome in all cases. I'm just missing like I don't know, a bit more of like the he's also kind of got that like kind of badass side to him. Like he puts on a leather jacket and then he's still like that kind of like he kind of looks like a cool arts major.
hmm Yeah, exactly. It's like I wouldn't like let him like watch my kids, um,
Mm-hmm.
but like he's overall good for the community. Kind of like Subway. Like I wouldn't leave my kids there, but yeah, I think having a Subway is good for the neighborhood. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's certainly good for the neighborhood. Subways are like the public libraries of neighborhoods because anyone can go in there and use the bathroom. Uh, there's no discrimination. You'll see
Dude,
all
I
types
love
of people.
libraries. Libraries are one of my favorite buildings because like the idea of going to them is like so like romantic and like
Mm-hmm.
beautiful, and then you go and then it's just like all like homeless people like pissing in the corner. And it's
Yeah.
just like it's like this is like so creepy but awesome. And then there's
Mm-hmm.
like the weird porn section. There's like
Mm-hmm.
the DVD section, and there's like
Mm-hmm.
guys in there like using the Wi-Fi like on the login computer. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like shit like that is like really fascinating to me. It's like kind of like a time capsule in a way.
Yeah, totally. It's like the only place you'll find there are kids with no parents around, and also like a man trying to change his pants, like in like the same, in both in like the nonfiction section.
It's a place for like kids to fall asleep and also the unhoused to fall asleep.
Mm-hmm. And maybe this isn't, maybe what we're describing is not what Subway is, but what we're describing is what Subway could be, because every neighborhood in every town on Earth has a Subway. They have so many locations, so
hmm
many, Eric.
hmm
And because of that, they have the opportunity to be a like municipal destination in the same way that a library is.
You're right. It's totally a landmark. It's like every town has to have like a few things, right? It has to have a fire department, needs to have
Mm-hmm.
hospital, you
Mm-hmm.
need a grocery store, a flower shop,
Mm-hmm.
and then, you know, the Board of Canadian Education also requires us to have a library. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, much like Subway, if I'm ever lost, I don't know where I need to go, I'll end up in there, and that's where I will use the Wi-Fi or, to use a shower. Splash, if I
Mm-hmm.
splash my face with cold water on a hot day and I'm in
Mm-hmm.
the lost place, I'll, I'll maybe do that at Subway or at the library. You can swap them out.
Yeah. The Dewey Decimal System and the inch system have like there's a commonality there as well.
hmm And there's no, we can't skip over the obvious comparison, right? The hot librarian with, with, the sandwich artist, like mommy figure.
Hmm, hmm.
They go hand in hand.
I think the real like comparison there, Eric, is that like there's a fantasy and then there's a reality, and the reality is always like three or four notches down from what your fantasy of your sandwich artist is.
Exactly. It's like every little boy dreams about like fucking their sandwich artist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wait, or is it just us?
No, I think it's all guys.
All
I'm sure
guys.
there's a whole subset of the internet probably dedicated to like sandwich artist fetishes.
100%. Like, yeah, dude, the way they take care of you, the cold gaze they give you,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
um, they probably have like cool glasses with like the little chain that like holds it on, you know?
mm-hmm.
Can't
Like if
have
you
that
got
land
like
in your sandwich.
no, if you have like a maternal bond kink, then that's the place to go because you're like you'll get a little bit of love, but then they'll hold some back.
Exactly. They don't want to get
Mm-hmm,
too close. They don't want to like get too close to the customers, you know, kind of like an escort. In a way,
mm-hmm,
there's like a trifecta here. It's like hot
mm-hmm.
librarian, sex workers, and sandwich artists.
Sandwich
Also sex
artists.
workers, if you think about it.
Well, things get hot and heavy in my mouth, let me tell you.
Exactly.
It's
They
so
say food
interesting.
is a love language.
Mm-hmm,
Making food for someone, you know, it's kind of like putting your like dick inside them in a way.
mm-hmm. It is my love language, the food. The food part of what you said.
I mean, it makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, how do we even start talking about libraries?
I don't know, man. But oh, it's because the that subway is a municipal landmark. It's
Mm,
it's like a public bathroom at a park, you know? It just like
hmm
exists every if you go into a city, you find a subway. If you go into a park, you're gonna find a public bathroom. And then you're gonna find somebody that is like for some reason has like a sound system with them. They're like carrying around a speaker system.
You're absolutely right. um, so speaking of destination, Ty, we got some big news here in on the west coast of Canada. We have the Michelin gatekeepers. They finally touched down here in beautiful
Mm.
Vancouver, and you know they parked their 3-ton dually, and you know they double parked it right outside of Pizza Tanto and said,
Mm-hmm.
let me get the chef's menu because they dropped the list of all the best restaurants in Vancouver. How dare
Damn.
they?
This is a big deal for the Michelin gods to swoop in and bless our little city with a
hmm
few of their stars. It's kind of like in like a game of Mario Party when you get the bonus stars. Um,
exactly.
it's
Um,
it's a long time coming. I'm surprised the Vancouver dining scene hasn't acquired one yet. So this is pretty exciting to have eight now.
It's kind of wild because, yeah, you're right. Vancouver is always like a place where rich people hang out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the sleepy and sleeper rich people hideaway,
Mm-hmm.
especially because so many movies are filmed here. But just the fact that now we have these stars, I'm kind of like choked about it. I don't know how. Part of me is like,
Yeah,
yes, we're getting the recognition we deserve, but the other half is like, now the restaurant that I thought was like no one knew about is also on all
mm-hmm.
posted for all of thee to see.
Yeah, totally. It kind of takes away some of the excitement of like walking up grungy Chinatown steps to go for a meal. Like,
Exactly. Because no one
so
else would like venture out here, right?
no.
Tell them it's like, no, trust me, go here and you're gonna be blown away. Like that doesn't happen anymore. It's like, oh, it has a fucking Michelin star. Obviously it's good, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it actually makes your critique either like invalid or unnecessary.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you're just reading the website. Like you're
Yeah.
not even curating anything.
Nice job, idiot. You went to the Michelin guide.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
I, I'm not sure how I feel about it either, Eric. Like for me, the problem is now at some restaurants I like to patron, I have to pay like $50 down deposit on my reservation. Talk is the real virus. Talk.com. Because the
mm,
Talk app, Eric, they let you charge the client for the table. like your resis, your open tables. No other service before was like doing this whole charge
Hmm.
you for a
Hmm.
reservation, and now they're money out of my account before I even walk in the front door, before I even get my appy.
Yeah, I know. I put down $200 just to eat at a cave this summer.
Just to go
Um,
spelunking.
exactly. Just to take off my clothes and jump into the water naked because I couldn't afford to pay the bill. But
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. I did a withdrawal from the Bank of Anchor.
Nice.
But yeah, Ty, you're right. St. Lawrence actually, one of the restaurants that was on the Michelin guide, they
Mm-hmm.
always charged for reservations. But to be fair, it is a deposit, so you like put down money, and then I guess if you don't show, that's when they like actually hit your credit card.
Mm-hmm.
But still, with the jury, if you're able to like get a refund on that, I'm sure you could if you like complained enough to your credit card.
Mm-hmm. Man, I'm pretty bummed though. Like, of all of the people on the Michelin star list or restaurants, none of them were any of like Vancouver's like 10,000 subways. You'd think that like with that quantity available, one of them would have ranked.
Hmm. You're right, but with sandwiches in general, there's a glass ceiling that they can't just break through. Like, no sandwich will ever be as good as the, like, I don't know, duck confit from St. Lawrence?
It's tough. Like, how do you compete as a sandwich? I'm like Googling it live as we're speaking to try to see if there's any Michelin starred sandwich shops. And it turns out there's one in, looks like it's Oslo, a business called Melt, and they're a grilled cheese forward restaurant with three Michelin stars. So that's pretty impressive. They,
This sounds like the kind of place that would like spell cheese with a Z, and it's like
mm-hmm.
actually like vegan, like science born lab cheese.
Dude, lab cheese, that's just mold.
Lab cheese is mold, and it usually comes in a powder. It's pretty funny.
hmm Which is kind of funny because like the true lab cheese is like mac and cheese from the box or like the sliced cheese at Subway. I have no doubts that that cheese is made in a laboratory. That didn't come from a cow. Quit pulling
Hmm.
my leg. That's lab cheese.
Yeah, I mean, where have we seen an orange cow?
That's a good
They
point.
don't exist, Ty.
I don't
We've
even know.
covered cheese on this podcast so many times. I just like when I think about cheese, I get flashbacks to episode like 10.
Hmm Because.
Well, Ty, because the orange cheese is the default. They always reach for that first. Oh no, they reach for
Hmm
the white cheese first. And they're not based on anything other than color. But the color is just synthetic. They add like some coloring to it.
Yeah.
Those are three like notes that I want to just bring to the breadheads at this time.
The qualities of cheese are not cut, clarity, um, color. It's color. Oh, it kind of is actually cut, clarity, color. With your cheese, you want it to be like a clean orange color, like a nice and bright. You want a perfect triangle cut, and you don't want any like scruffiness to it. You don't want any like blemishes. You want it clear.
That sounds like someone who like dines at Subway exclusively would say, but we all know like the weird, funky looking cheeses are actually the best, right?
Oh yeah, I'm thinking about exclusively at Subway. Outside of Subway, that you're not rating on the same scale.
That's true. That's true. So out of these restaurants, Ty, which one are you gonna go to? Are you gonna go to any? Are you gonna skip it? Or are you gonna say like, you know what? I haven't heard of this one. I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah, there's actually a few restaurants on that list that I haven't even heard of, like Barbera or like there's that sushi place on Fraser Street. But I'm gonna try to
Hmm.
lock down a resoet published on Maine pretty soon, and maybe I have never eaten at Burdock and Co., so I should probably swing by there, see what's happening out there. I do
Yeah.
like Burdock in
Hmm.
general.
Yeah. I think I understand why this whole Michelin thing has gotten me like feeling a little agitated today. I'm feeling like kind of like a child today, Ty.
Mm,
I need to be coddled today, and it's
mm-hmm.
because it reminds me a little bit too much of Dine Out in Vancouver,
Mm.
and Dine Out is the worst possible to the culinary industry. This is probably the second worst because now now the crowd at all these like interesting places is gonna be like filled with like people who drive down from like Abbotsford and like shit like that. It's like, oh, honey, we're going to a Michelin star restaurant. Get your house on, like that kind of shit. And they're gonna like, they're gonna see the valet parking for $20 and be like, fuck that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like that crowd who like they don't live this life that me and you live, Ty, and now we're gonna have to suffer by sitting next to them.
Right. They're gonna ruin the scene.
Hmm.
But on the flip side, Eric, that means that the suburban subways will be a little quieter if you want to go on our own little honeymoon.
You're absolutely right about that. They're gonna come west, we're gonna go east,
Hmm.
and we're gonna go straight to the smallest subway. There's got to be
Hmm.
a competition out there for like the biggest subway and the smallest subway.
Yeah, I think so. Like you're thinking like generally the square footage, right? Not like the nuance is of their sandwich sizes. Like one's like 2 millimeters bigger. Sorry, eighth of an inch.
Ah, yes. No, definitely like square footage. Like, is there a literal hole in the wall subway that we can go to?
Mm. Yeah, I wanna order a foot long through like a glory hole in the side of a brick building. Just like push the foot long out when it's done.
Exactly. And I want it to come out on like a foot long tray so you can just like see exactly, when it gets shoved out of the wall that it's like the right size.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or you can, or if it's not on the tray, then you would kind of receive it like a baby.
Yeah, you gotta deliver the sandwich.
Wow, new meaning to Uber Eats delivery. It's
Hmm.
getting pushed out.
It's kind of gross. I feel like there's probably some like subways that are like test kitchens. Like surely the test kitchen concept exists for even fast food restaurants.
Hmm. Well, the problem is, Ty, with the franchise model, every one of them is a test kitchen because they don't talk to each other. They
That's true.
don't they don't share knowledge, and that might be, Subway's Achilles heel. Like, imagine if all of these subways had to report back to HQ with their findings, and then they were
Hmm.
given, the menu instead of them inventing like random bullshit to do on the side, like this
Hmm.
rice bowl like fiasco, you know?
'Tis a fiasco. It's funny though because the franchisees are like the middleman, like I am making the menu. At the end of the day, I choose the menu as the customer. And
Hmm.
then the franchisees are responsible for relaying that information to corporate. But the franchisees have to go through the sandwich artist. So there's like a game of telephone happening here. Um,
Hmm.
and there's no way that the corporate's ever going to deliver something that I want because we have to go through too many hoops to get like my day-to-day actions. Then like
Hmm.
the big data has to be accumulated by all the sandwich artists, taken to all the franchisees, and then amalgamated at corporate. That seems like just like a mess to put together. It's messier than like the paper when I'm done my sandwich.
You're absolutely right. And now that I ever think about it, like I'm recalling the time where I asked for falafel and the white lady was like, "Oh, is that a type of bread?" Or no, she
Hmm.
said like, "No, we got something like that." And I'm just thinking about like what she might say to her superiors. It might sound something like, "Yeah, this person asked me for a weird ethnic type of bread and we
Hmm.
didn't have it." So that
Yeah,
conversation obviously wouldn't lead to anything good.
and then the franchisee is gonna go to corporate and say, "Can we get some ancient grain on the menu?" And then next
Yeah,
thing you know,
totally
they've
wrong.
eliminated the Italian herb and cheese and replaced it with some sort of like Egyptian rye.
Oh man, all because I just wanted some falafel.
Hmm. Damn, it's
Wow.
a game of telephone. And you know what's funny is like I think communication is Subway's biggest weakness because they're so reliant on it. The entire ordering process, Eric, is ping pong, back and forth communication down the line.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing a game of verbal ping pong, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm flubbing every shot. My sandwich artist can't return. It's
Mm-hmm.
and then they need to summarize that experience and deliver it to their franchise overlord.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
I don't know if it's ping pong. I think it's more like backseat driving. It's
Mm,
like when you're like in the car in the backseat saying like, "Oh, slow down," or like, "What are you doing?" Like, turn here and stuff like that. That's what we're doing to our sandwich artists, and now I understand why they look so mad all the time.
that's a good point because in ping pong you assume that there's equal time to respond to an action. Like I perform an action, they have just as much time to reply. But when you're
Hmm.
in the backseat of your Uber Black, you're at telling them, "Hey, you should have turned left there," already after they've crossed the intersection. And that's more closely related to my sandwich ordering process where I say, "Hey, I didn't I didn't ask for jalapenos after three of them all have already been laid down on my sandwich."
Exactly. Or it's like, can you add more of this? It's always a reaction. Yeah, as a,
Mhm.
a sandwich creator, you're always kind of like playing both sides. You're always like reacting and proacting.
Mhm. It's a bit like juggling, they're juggling what they think is what you want with what you're telling them they want. They got a time crunch happening. So
Hmm.
they got to they have to be a bit predictive. Their operating system has to have an algorithmic aspect to it where they're trying to predict what you want. Like they said, what else would you like? Well, their hand is like in the lettuce bowl. They're like any vegetables, hands in the lettuce bowl. What's up with that?
That's you're absolutely right. Like even if you skip the lettuce, like say you start with jalapenos, they're gonna be like,
Hmm.
"Well, oh, do you want lettuce?" Like, like they always like are so concerned with like if you're getting lettuce or not. It's like you gotta eat your greens, kid.
You got to make your bed of lettuce.
Exactly. The bed of lettuce really is the foundation of all sandwiches,
At least
especially
the
the veggie
garden. Hmm.
delight. Yeah.
It's like the
Wow.
garden layer. Your sandwich is kind of sedimentary in a sense. You if you did the cross section, there's like a solid meat section. Then you got like that green layer, and then you got like and the closer you get to the surface or the crust, it gets a little bit more mushy, like muddy.
I thought you were describing a new type of diet, like sedimentarian.
Yeah, I only eat like one food type at a time.
Everything has to be in a seven-layer dip format for me to eat it.
Honestly, that's kind
Oh.
of cool. I do like my meals deconstructed from time to time.
hmm You're somebody who like innovates heavily on meals. I've never seen you eat the same thing twice. Like based on what you've told me and what I've seen you share with me via Snapchat.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's always like the same ingredients, but like completely different. Like looks 100% different. I'm like, how many dishes can you make with like yeast?
It's crazy like how versatile some ingredients are, Eric. And like it's the same thing with Subway. Like they're optimizing their ingredients for versatility, not flavor. Like
You're absolutely right.
like single slice of tomato has potential in like a Greek style sandwich, a like falafel, like a pizza sub. You can kind of move
hmm
it between different sandwiches, and like the acidic side or the sweet side start to like show up a little bit more. Sometimes it's more of a textural thing.
hmm
The food in my fridge is kind of the same way. Like there's a lot of different ways you can cook a cauliflower. So
And how many of those were taken as inspiration from your recent Mexico trip?
Dude, when I was in Mexico, I swear to God, I ate cauliflower like three times a day. They don't have any other meat substitutes there. It's their
Wow.
only option.
Not
They don't
even a
have time.
little, salsa, little pico de gallo.
Well, they just gloop it on the cauliflower, and yeah, it's a cauliflower chorizo now or whatever. I don't know. Their favorite move is to like pan fry it and then do like some sort of like hazelnut topping on it. I don't know why that's the
Hmm.
pairing, but I see that at a lot of like um, four price tag Yelp restaurants too. It'll be like cauliflower steak with like a little bit of little hazelnut sauce, or I had a hazelnut romesco the other day. They like made it into a
Dude,
tomato sauce.
dude, what the fuck? Actually, it must be rough out here, man. Because,
It's
like, just you want to dine out. You want to have like a nice experience, like ordering natty wines
mm-hmm.
through their recommendations and whatnot. But then, like, once you get the food, you're like, damn, cauliflower again.
Yeah. Like damn, I'm having this like crazy ass biodynamic orange palette enhancement, and
Hmm.
now I just have to like order the order the salad with this.
Yeah.
It's my only
What
option.
goes good with the cauliflower?
Mm-hmm. It's tough.
Amazing.
It's hard, but you know what I like about the way, Eric, is that we're all working with the same ingredients. It's so
Hmm.
democratizing to say like, okay, we all have the same paints um on our paintbrush. What are you gonna create today?
And more often than not, I'm sticking with my greatest hits, Ty. I'm performing blinding lights 10 times in a
Hmm.
row when it comes to Subway.
Well, you're a purist, not a tourist, and that's I think the dichotomy that you and I have. I'm a tourist, not a purist, in most cases.
Absolutely. I also follow the 3% rule when it comes to
Hmm.
innovating on my sandwiches. I'm only interested in like tweaking it a little bit because I want to know that it's still a BMT.
Hmm. And you see, I follow the 3 inch rule, which is every 3 inches, I want the sandwich to taste a little bit different.
Hmm.
Caterpillar roll style. Or was that a
Wow.
rainbow roll? I don't remember.
I'm picturing exactly what you're thinking of, so it worked.
Cool.
Um, wow. Well, Ty, once again, you make me real hungry.
I am so hungry.
I just had lunch an hour ago and I'm feeling very hungry and I'm gonna have to fuel up before I hit the tennis courts.
Yeah, get back in the lab and try to make something new, Eric. Okay. Don't go 3% change. Go like 30% change tonight.
I don't know how I'm gonna innovate on a banana by 30%. Um, but I'll try my best and I will report back to you.
You know what I tried the other day? Take the banana and then like fry it, like slice it and then fry the slices in a frying pan and then put it on like toast.
Oh, with
It'll
butter?
like
Like
caramelize up
frying it
yeah,
with
with
butter?
some butter. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Maybe a couple
Wow.
little nuts kind of sprinkled on there, a little walnut. It's
Dude,
pretty good.
if I don't know how you're not 300 pounds.
It's just a banana, dude. No one got
But if you're
fat eating bananas.
That's true, but you're hinting at all of the amazing things you probably made outside this podcast. And now I'm like, well, I guess I'm moving out.
I don't know, dude. Um, I think I only just share the good meals with you. You don't see the behind the scenes. You think
Mm,
a chef in a Michelin star restaurant, like, what are they cooking for themselves when they're hungry? Do you think they're actually like whipping themselves up some confit, or do you think they are just like grabbing just raw cucumber and putting it in their mouth to like hold them over until their shift's done?
I mean, I know what I do, and it's a lot like the latter.
Mm-hmm.
I take the milk jug and take a swig straight from the fridge.
Mm-hmm.
I'll cook KD and like not even put milk in it. I'll just add I'll add the powder straight to the bowl and mix it, those kinds of things. Um,
Totally. Dude, they could innovate on KD so much. Like, why can't you just cook it in the box?
yeah, why isn't the box made of foil? That way it's
Mm-hmm.
recyclable. It's still
Mm-hmm.
recyclable, but you can cook in it. I guess I don't know if you can recycle it with food still in there.
I don't know, but if you like eat out of it too, then it's your bowl. Like, I'm
I mean,
dirtying
yeah,
a lot of dishes for a dinner that costs $1.
dude, Asians already did that. They already innovated on the KD thing you just talked about. Instant noodles already come in the bowl, and you
Oh
just add
yeah.
water.
Oh yeah. Instant noodles is the Asian food of crap dinner, which is the Italian food of instant noodles.
And
Wow,
this is
dude,
an
I'm burnt
infinite
out.
loop. Oh
I,
wow.
I need to go make some food.
Absolutely. Well, Ty, pleasure chatting with you today. I will hold the tennis court down for as long as I can today, and
Hmm.
I'll see you there.
All right, it's a filibuster. He's gonna wait the court out.
We shall not be moved.
Amazing. Well, thank you for tuning in, Breadheads. Thank you, Eric, for joining me once again, my booth buddy in the lab. Look forward to jamming with you again next
I
week.
don't
Think
like
fresh,
booth buddy.
everybody.
I
What's
don't
wrong
like
with
booth
Booth
buddy.
Buddy?
It's
Uh,
a little sexual.
okay. If you say so, Booth Buddy.